going to go and get cake. I need cake.
I need coffee.
You
go and make me a coffee, and
right.
I'll talk to these lovely
You talk
people.
to these lovely people. Don't tell them any secrets while I'm gone. Oh. Yeah, I'll take that with me.
Because that's a secret surprise. That's a secret squirrel you're just going to have to find on TikTok. I'm not telling you anything else about it because it's totally out of character for who we are. Hi, everyone. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Renee. Hi, Portable Tree. Hi, Nicole. Hello, Spells and Spirits. Andrea, Karen, Bruce, Mel, Nicole, Jody. Hello, stranger. Yeah, haven't seen you for ages and ages. Hello, Kate. Hello, Justin and Bronwyn. We're going to miss you tomorrow night. I'm sorry that you guys can't come. And Carissa and Inanna. How are you all? Thank you all for coming on. Thank you. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Courtney. Oh, you're all such special people. Thank you so very much. Hello, Sarah Jazz. Hope you're feeling better, girl. God, you got some health problems there. Jeez. Hello, Ray and Danielle. Going to see you tomorrow night. Alice, Alicia, Nicole, Rachel, Bethany, Christy. Thank you for the stars, Jeanette, too. Anne will be back in a tick. She's just making me a coffee because I really need it. I don't take too much time out between coffees, actually. That's the only thing that keeps me going. Hi, Joe Ingram again. Hi, Sharon. How are you? We're going to take some time tonight to just have a bit of a talk about True Hauntings podcast, which has been going for about 6 months now. I don't want to say too much because I'll wait till Anne comes back because she should be here. So Dinah, hello Dinah, and hello Debbie. Nice to see you guys here. And Christine. Just trying to read from here to there. Hello puppies. There's a puppy that's come in. Maxie is in here. You see that furry head there? That's Maxie. He's just come in to say hello. Yeah, and we just did a wild TikTok. You have to go over to the Anne and Renata TikTok page, and you will see and hear it with your own eyes and ears, and you will be impressed, just like we were when we recorded it just a few minutes ago. And let me tell you, it was one take. We didn't have to repeat it. We just did it in one go. That's just all I want to say. So we are up to over 30 episodes of True Hauntings, the True Hauntings podcast. And because of something that's just going to be, look, it's not anything really special, but because something's going to happen over the next 2 weeks with True Hauntings, we thought we would be really interesting to jump on right now and to ask you all if you all already are on and watching the True Hauntings podcast, and what do you like about it? What is the best thing about True Hauntings podcast? And Christy, our gorgeous girl behind the scenes, if you can put up the link to True Hauntings podcast just in case there are people on who have not heard it yet. You need to go on and you need to listen to it because we do crack ourselves up in between time. We do have a couple of favourite episodes, absolutely. And it's not going away anytime soon. It is going to be here. I didn't kind of say anything until you came back. Oh, look at this. Thank you.
I'm a good friend. I've got a dog in here with us. That's okay. We got Coo. So what have you said? You've just rattled on about nothing.
I've just rattled on about nothing.
Fabulous.
But I was going to wait for you to come back.
Okay.
True Hauntings podcast will not be on tomorrow or next week. Sorry. We're taking a little bit of a break. And
we've worked our team to the bone.
We've worked our team to the bone, and they've had to take a bit of a holiday. So with them taking a holiday, the recordings aren't going to go out until they are professionally done. And good thing we have this great team behind us at Verve and Human Labs, who take care of this part of what we do and prepare the podcasts. We send them the raw recordings and they put it all together and make it sound really nice. So they're on a little bit of a hiatus, a bit of a holiday because they need a break. And so we just wanted to jump on and go, there isn't one tomorrow and there isn't going to be one next week. But what we're going to do is we're going to put up some of the older ones. Some of our favourites are going to go up. So, yeah, tell us which one is your favourite. Which was the one that you really liked, those that listened to it and have listened to all of the episodes. Let us know which one you
and Danielle's
liked.
been really great. She digs down even more and finds more juicy gossip after each episode, and we really have appreciated all the stuff you've sent through, Danielle. It's been fabulous.
Portable Tree, you don't listen to them. Oh my God, I'm going to have to come and find you.
Smack your bottom.
Smack your bottom and make you listen to them. And I know some people don't have time for podcasts. I tend to listen to mine in the car when I'm driving somewhere. I just put the podcast on and or podcasts on and listen to them. We listen back to ours.
We giggle.
Just to make sure that the quality is there, because we jump on our team when we feel that they've missed out on something or they've let something slip past that they should have fixed. So we just kind of trying to make sure that it's the best that it can be. And it takes us a couple of days to do a research on each topic. So depending on how much information there is, it actually takes a few full days to research the information. And then we've got to go in and go, is this actually worth talking about, this particular one?
We've been through 3 for this week that we were going to go. We went, let's do this one. No. Oh, let's do this one. Oh, no. And we finally settled on a really good one. And now we're going to try and record it tomorrow. And I went, this one's too good. I want to actually give it a little bit more time of research to get it just right, because it's such an interesting one.
And Erin, I know you want to have more Australian-based stories. And we're trying to do our best to put an Australian-based story in between every 2 or 3 from overseas. But that's about all we can do.
The problem with Australia doesn't have a lot of recorded history comparatively to Europe, Britain, Ireland, America. So we can only tell so many stories, and they'll be exhausted. So we're trying to space them out a little bit.
And then we have to look for evidence. So we need to then go into Trove, or a place that gives us a basis of information that we can go into and go, okay, this really happened, or that's bullshit, that's been made up, that's been added to the story. And so you kind of find out through stuff that's in newspapers or written up in books, and we put it all together. Oh, Robert Sterling, you're a handsome young man there. And that's how we sort of try and put the story together, because we like the story to have a bit of juicy legs and bones in it. Yeah, so it's a solid story and not all made up. And there's got to be enough of the ghost component for it to work. One of the stories that we were looking at for this week actually didn't. There was not a lot of history to sort of get out of it. It was
reported as one of the most haunted locations in the world, top 10 in the world, and couldn't find any information.
Yeah. And sometimes it takes a while to find a good bit of information. And thank goodness that we've got enough sort of online information that we can research. But we're developing a really large library of books that we're collecting along the way as we go. This is really awesome. I need to buy the book
so that I can look the author.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got one right there that I'm using at the moment for research. This one is fabulous. Erin, you'd like this one.
You'd like that one, Erin. It's called Australian Poltergeist. and it's by Tony Healy and Paul Cropper.
They have done such an amazing job.
Yeah, we've mentioned one of their stories before, which was the poltergeist of Humpty
Doo.
Doo. They went out and they did some information on that one, and it's in this book. And we're doing a little bit more research on some of the other stories that they have produced over the years.
And this is keto carrot cake, everyone.
What other book have you picked up along the way?
Hmm?
What other book that have you picked up along the way?
Oh, I'll get that one in a second.
If you have any questions,
Paris Catacombs for Lizzie Borden.
if you have any questions about the podcast, pop them into the feed. We'd love to answer.
I love your personal stories in the podcast. Oh, that's right. That was our first. We've got another Romanian story coming up. You'll be pleased to know.
The Romanian experience gave us a stack of wonderful stories to be able to tell you over time.
Yes, Amber, we did one on Beechworth, Beechworth Asylum. We are planning to do Arradale, J Ward in Ararat at some stage or other.
And we've been to J Ward.
Yes. Roland Doe was intriguing and a little sad. This is true. What's your favourite today?
I did like the Tower of London podcast.
I like that we had one of the beefeaters come and talk to us online.
No, no.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I said the wrong thing. I called him the Raven Master, and he's not the Raven Master, but he actually came on to tell us that he's not the Raven Master, which was awesome. So we got the Beefeater to come on and say, I'm one of the crew that works here, but I'm not the Raven Master.
I can't find that book that I was showing you.
Which is just so awesome.
This is another book that I think it's actually underneath there. This is one that I'm reading at the moment just for fun. Occult America, The Secret History of How Mysticism Shaped Our Nation.
Just for fun.
It's really quite interesting. So that's just light reading. This one I picked up in a bookshop. Mr. Pickwick's in Katoomba, an Australian investigator's casebook by John Pinkney, and it's got lots of little stories that we're going to be using. At another project. Yet another project.
Which hopefully we'll be able to tell you about really soon. Really soon.
Yes,
it looks like it's
called True Hauntings. Now, some people said they've not listened to podcasts before and they don't know how to sort of settle down. I just make myself a cup of coffee and put the headphones on and just listen, or you can put it on in the car while you're driving if you've got time to kill. Just make sure you don't crash the car because you're laughing too hard. So, Nicholas, what's this? You should come up to Port Macquarie one night. Convict spooks. Ooh, I'd love that. That would be cool.
Nicholas, tell us what great places in Port Macquarie we could go and investigate. Let us know what you think. And if there is a story that you would like us to research.
Oh, Devon. Oh. The case that opened my eyes to the Warrens was the Amityville Horror. When I realised that they went in and just walked around giving their personal opinions without any, what they call it, validation, and people based the whole story on that. They've done more harm than good, sadly, in the field with their bias. They had a lot of bias. I'm sure for them they were doing the best that they knew how in their belief system, but that has now continued on into Hollywood and ghost hunting teams, and it's
And we have this issue that people come on tours, or they go out and investigate, and they get really upset when a ghost doesn't appear because they've just gone out there to investigate.
Justin's taking the piss.
And because you see on TV or in the movies that everywhere you go, there is a ghost seemingly waiting for you to turn up because you're so important. And the fact is that you really find that having a paranormal thing happen while you are out is actually quite rare. It's really, really rare, and you really just have to be at the right place at the right time with the right frame of mind for something to happen and to catch that. Otherwise, it is like fishing. Like we always say, you put a worm on your hook and you throw it in the water, and then you wait patiently to see what happens.
Oh, awesome, Joe. Wow. Yeah, I have to admit, I dabbled in podcasts. I like the Big Seance with our gorgeous Patrick and Mysterious Universe, the other one. But I think Renata sort of got me onto podcasts. And then when we had to make one, I sort of appreciated it a little bit more. Oh, the other news is that we have had 75,000 downloads of our 32 episodes. So how awesome is that?
Yay!
That means we might be able to get some more sponsors on board and actually start to make some money, because we don't at the moment.
No.
Pavalia Island. I think that was the one in Italy.
And I tell you what, it really opens your eyes when you start doing this depth of research to how many interesting places there are in the world that you haven't been to, except for Amy's Crypt. Amy's Crypt's been everywhere, which is absolutely awesome, but I hate her guts because of that. I'm very, very jealous. Yeah, there are so many places that I would still like to go to because of the research that I'm doing on all of these amazing spots. And you also get to find out how creative some people have been with regard to the stories and to the myths and the legends that they've put out. There's still a lot of superstition associated with many of these sites. And what you will find as you do go through all of these places, that you have to really dig deep down for where the basis of the story has come from and why people have now turned that into something bigger than Ben-Hur.
And yes, we have seen the new Conjuring movie. I was cringing within the first couple of minutes at the exorcism scene. What made me laugh even more is when the priest turned up at the house and they did the whole nod to The Exorcist, which I thought was funny. I did have a giggle at that, and they did that on purpose. That was a tongue-in-cheek thing, so I appreciated that. But yeah, it was a little bit.
There's virtually nothing associated with the real story. So when they say it's based on a true story,
the only thing that was the name of the man who murdered the other man, and the fact that they used that as a defense to get him off being executed. That was about it. The whole love story, and Ed Warren having the heart attack and everything. They put stents in. Stents weren't invented. My husband looked that up.
Has anyone that is on at the moment seen The Space Between? So we've had some people who have told us that they've already watched The Space Between. And The Space Between also features us as paranormal investigators.
Watches us.
And you can see it for free on 7 Plus at the moment. So it's a documentary style, a 4-part series. And Bianca Biasi tells her sort of life story of her connection with a spirit child that came into her room as a young girl, and how she has tried to look for the meaning behind that, and whether it was real, and whether she can have experiences like that before. And that kind of runs through the whole of the 4 episodes, which is It's awesome. It's really awesome. We had a great time doing it. It took years to actually record. They did everything that they could on a very, very tight budget, but it's turned out to be an absolutely beautiful, beautiful series. We're very proud of it.
Do you know what I like the best about doing that series? Is that we got to stay in real motel rooms at Q Station instead of the bunk beds that we used to sleep in when we ran the tours. It was so nice to have a real room.
Yeah. It's still quite a creepy place, Q Station, no matter how many times you go. There will be times when different spaces feel different.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times when for example, they'll say the gravedigger's house is always spooky and there's always something, negative in there or dreadful or whatever. And that's a story that's been told for a really long time. And there will be times when you go into the gravediggers and it does feel very vacant and very like a
nothing
portalish, like you're going to be transported from in there to somewhere else.
Sometimes there's nothing. Sometimes you think I can't even walk through the door. So it's after working there for 6 years, it's such a fantastic place. Janet, I also found that when I was streaming on 7 Plus on the TV, I couldn't open any of the shows. So what I had to do is I had to get the app on my phone and I'd open the app and stream it to the TV from my phone, which is really weird. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Yes, that was interesting how it all came together. And what was even more fascinating is that my numerology number is that number. I know. I didn't swear in that show whatsoever.
Really?
I put my professional hat on and I put my ghost hunter's hat on and I behaved beautifully.
I know. We had to behave ourselves.
Yeah, we were real paranormal investigators for that instead of celebrity paranormal investigators.
Hello, Robert White. How are you? Thank you, everyone, for coming on. We're actually
not yet. I hope to.
We're here to get some feedback from you guys about what you like about the show, so that when we come back after our 2-week break, we can deliver even better. When we do this, we have a script that we have written up personally. So Anne takes a piece of the story, I take a piece of the story, and we work on that separately, and then we bring it together. But we do really do it in one take. So we don't sit there for hours re-recording and re-recording. We try and do it in one take.
Sometimes you even hear her say, cut that out, cut that out. I'm going, no, leave it in, leave it in. That's because we're saying to the team, don't cut that bit out. I liked it when she loses it. When that wheeze happens, I just love it. Is there any rule about investigating cold cases in Australia? Are you talking about murder cases or paranormal cases? This is not that I know of. Yes, there is another one coming up with Isaac. It's supposed to be out at the beginning of July.
And that one takes us to somewhere nice and close to where we are, Amber Jade. So I'm sure you'll be interested in it.
Yes.
And apparently you found a bit of, which you haven't still told me about.
Evidence. I can't tell you about it. No, I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, you shit.
Yeah.
Yes, Renee, she does that all the time.
One really good one and 2 dodgy ones. So I don't know what they'll use. So Joe's saying she loves to dig into the history and the backstory, then analyse the facts and come to our own conclusion.
So we always ask at the end of the show, do you
Good on you, Peter. I just have a muffin hanging over my jeans all the time.
If it's a real haunting or not. And there have been some where we've said, no, it's actually not. It's not a real haunting.
I think it's a great mix of history and ghost stories. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it.
No, that's true. One of the things that you can do for us is, when a new episode comes up, to come to the Facebook page at True Hauntings and tell us what you like about it. We try and post a couple of things a week, Anne might find a clip or something that is associated with the story, or there might be a picture that's associated with the story, and we try and post that up. We can't be on that page all the time because we're running so many pages at the moment and pushing out so much information, and that's only going to get worse over the next few weeks. That we can't do as much on that page as we would like. But what we would love you to do is interact anytime something comes on that page, and just let us know. If you've found something, or if there is some other piece of information that is part of the story that we don't know about, because that's what makes it really interesting. And we can go back to some of these and add to them at some point in time.
Oh, yes, the Valeska Axe Murderer House.
I would be interested in that as well.
I'd like to do that one too. There is so many cool ones in America. We're trying to. I tried to do one from Argentina for this week, but there's no information. It was dreadful. Oh yeah, that's my puppy. Where are you, Cool? Hello, baby. Come up here. Come on. No. Come here. Good girl. There she is. She's got double coats on because she's got very thin fur, so she feels the cold. This is cool. I know. Oh, I know.
Oh, gorgeous. She's such a beautiful girl, this dog. And she was a rescue. She has the most beautiful, beautiful character. She's a real joy.
Oh, we have to. I'll make Peter's ears bleed sometimes.
She's pretty good on the podcast, Peter, because we're not allowed to swear too much or say anything too much on that one because it's recorded, so it can't disappear. She's beautiful.
Yeah, we had a run, Joe, where the ones that we were doing, it turned out that Amy had done as well. We're going, oh my God, Amy's done that one too. Oh my God, Amy's done that one too. So, I suppose there's famous ghost stories in the world, and as ghost hunters, we all head to the most famous ones, and like Amityville Horror. I would still love to drive past that house and take a photo. It would be so cool.
Now, Britt's asked a really interesting question, Britt Chapman. Could we do one on Maitland Jail? Now, there's a difficulty with that, Britt. Number one is we're not allowed to know who stayed in what cell because it's still too soon and they won't release that information to us. So all the stories that we have and personal experiences that we have, there isn't anything there that is like a continuous story that you can kind of go, this belongs to Joe Bloggs, and Joe Bloggs haunts cell number 12 in C Wing. We don't know that, and we're not privy to that information. So we can do generalized stuff, but most people don't want to know generalized stuff. They want to know, real kind of juicy nitty-gritty stuff. There is one particular cell called, which they've called Satan's Cell, that is in Maitland Jail, but there's no truth to that.
But that's
myth.
part of what we would tell in the True Hauntings.
Yeah.
The problem is when you work for a location, if you go and debunk all their ghost stories and say that it's all made up, they get to poos with you, which is why I haven't attempted Q Station yet. I don't want to get in trouble.
And that goes back to another story that we were going to do this week. And then I found exactly that. I found a blog where someone had written up about the lack of truth in any of the stories that were associated with that site. And I had to go, it's a horrible thing to write up. That's really horrible. And I had to actually stop and go, we can't do this because
did they lose their job there?
This is sitting there. I'll have to show you.
Because they used to run tours there, so I can't imagine they would say that when they're running tours.
Yes.
All right, sorry, I'm a little bit lost where I'm up to. I just saw I had an angry face from Ian Lambert. Who is Ian Lambert? Devon's saying, have we watched American Murder? No. You can all you can the body viewers report said, oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Oh, I'd love to go there. I mean, we always love a good trauma in a location, which is horrible. Sounds really horrible, but it draws investigators in because some part of the theory is that trauma leaves an imprint in a location, and it may be residual, not necessarily an intelligent haunting. It may be something residual left imprinted there from the horror of what's been there.
Virginia asks whether we've been to Greenmount House in Mackay. No, we haven't.
It's on the list, Renee, but it's still too soon for Port Arthur after the massacre, so we'd probably leave that one.
We wouldn't be able to touch that subject.
Alcatraz,
and we wouldn't do it.
yes, I actually tried to get her to do it this week, but she said no, or got sidetracked by something else.
It's coming. It's coming.
Eek. Jumped again.
We would love to have some real storylines associated with Maitland Jail and some of the inmates that are there, and a consistency to seeing their spirits or people who have interacted with their spirits. A lot of the staff that work there will absolutely say, no, it's not haunted. But I think that many of them feel that way because they don't want to know because they work there. It'd be really hard to work at a place and get yourself into that headspace where you really believe it's haunted.
What happened to Maitland,
and you have to go there to work every day. You could feel really vulnerable in that type of situation. So I understand why they might go, no, it's not haunted and I don't want to know.
Oh, Ian, thank you. Yeah, I had somebody investigated a location that we run tours at and said, you know, we investigated it scientifically and we caught nothing, and I would need to go back several times to see if there was a bit. I'd say it's not haunted, and so I just said, you can't turn up for a period of a couple of hours and expect the ghost to turn up and do things because you can't predict when there's going to be a haunting. All you can do is try to give the best opportunity to interact with what might be there. So you go through your bag of tricks and all the things that normally will get an entity to interact with you. But I just they got a bit upset with me because I said you can't predict when hauntings are going to happen. You can't declare a place is not haunted just because they weren't there in the couple of hours you were there. And I didn't mean to be rude, but apparently I was.
So Portable Trees asking, why is the massacre at Port Arthur too soon? Because there are still living relatives of those that have passed over. And we try and be as respectful as we can. And so therefore we sort of go into stories where it's either all been worked out and everyone knows what sort of the story it is. There's a movie being made of it. So it's like, geez, there's a movie about it. What else, can we do with it? It's like it's open slather after a movie's been done about it. But number one, it was a real awful tragedy. And just out of respect to the family, the living family that is still around and associated with some of the stuff that happened there, we don't want to do that. We could talk about the rest of Port Arthur, and the convict legends, but not the massacre part.
So what's the longest you have stayed at a place you were investigating? So we have stayed overnight. We've sometimes had a couple of nights accommodation staying at a haunted place, but generally overnight, not necessarily investigating every single hour, every single minute and second. Sometimes we will sleep and hopefully get an experience while we're sleeping there overnight. But the longest period of time I have investigated location would be Quarantine Station Manly, where I worked for 6 years running the paranormal investigator experience. And the beauty of that was that we videoed, we recorded, and analysed the evidence from every single tour, and it was put up onto private Facebook pages for the people who attended the tour. So we'd only have 8 people in a group. There'd be 2 groups that would go, and I collected evidence there for 6 years, which is where I met Bianca and how the Space Between came about with us in it, because we had been there working for 6 years. So that was really cool.
Mm.
Robert said from Maitland, he was in an old sections, overcome by something. I worked in a jail and I think it attracted something, had to get out of the wing. Yeah, I can understand that. You were a target. Oh, and this is another one I would love to go to Dominique, but you've got to get permission to get in there, and it's they're a little reluctant sometimes to do that.
There, the one of the problems is that a lot of people trespass to get on some of these sites. They don't ask permission. I'm not saying that they actually create havoc or destroy anything. In many of the places, it's already a shell of what it should be or what it was. But you are breaking the rules by being somewhere where you're not supposed to be. And heaven help if something happens to you or somebody else, and you sort of have to call an ambulance or something. And what it does is it then stops the site owners from opening it up to anybody else. So if someone had trespassed on a particular site, put up a video, it's all over YouTube and everything, then we go in and we go, well, we would like to go on that site. Would you allow us to be on that site? The likelihood is that they'll probably say no, because the other people never had permission in the first place.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have been there.
On them.
And the site owners don't want trespassers going through those places every dark night. So we have to, we just have to watch what other people want.
Carefully. Yes, we have investigated the rocks. There was a hotel that we stayed at there for 2 nights. Had a jolly good time, didn't we? Callan Park, I've actually investigated Ward 17 several times, and a few of the other wards, because we were doing some filming projects with the Caldies there. So I was lucky enough to get in there and do that before other investigators stuffed it up.
That's one place that I would really like to go. I haven't had the chance to do that.
What's your favourite location to investigate? Anywhere in England or Ireland?
I'm a pretty big fan of castles. I like an old castle. I like an old relic.
Takes one to know one.
That's true. But anywhere that's really ancient and old, it seems to call out to me. Peter Chambers, not Morisset Hospital, for a number of reasons.
Yeah, sadly.
Number one, there's literally every time a few weeks pass, there's less of the shell that remains. It is awfully, awfully off the road, so you have to have proper car to get there. It is a site that legally you are trespassing if you go there. So even though it is open and people say, well, it's open and everybody's been there. Yeah, it's open and everybody's been there. We can't go because we run a business. And the likelihood that being caught on site, one thing can ruin your business really easily, especially if you are dealing with other sites that require you to follow the rules. If you show you've broken the rules once, then everyone loses faith in you. The other thing is that over the years, there has been a lot of, what's that stuff that gives you cancer? Asbestos out there, left out and broken. And there can be a likelihood that there are asbestos threads still there, and all it takes is one. So unfortunately, no, I wouldn't go out there unless I was masked up and I had someone that was there, knowing exactly that I'm there and watching us.
What's your favourite horror film franchise?
I don't have one.
The problem for me is that I've been an actor for many years, and I've actually worked in a lot of was it Deadly Women, where they murder people, and I was usually a murderer. So I've been in front of the camera where they reenact all this stuff, and they do the make believe, and they've got the blood bags. I had to shoot myself in the stomach once, and I had blood bags underneath, and it's been ruined for me. So I sort of can't get into any of them really. Particularly also when you know that a lot of it is not true. Most active site you've been to? For me, it's probably Q Station. But once again, that's on and off. Maitland Jail. I mean, if we get some quiet time in there.
We don't have enough time to investigate on our own anymore because we're normally doing tours. When we're normally out there being the hosts for other people. I did like Romania from the point of view of it wasn't my tour. I didn't have to worry about it. I just had to be there and enjoy it. So Romania was quite interesting. And Miss Ghost Host, that's kind of the thing of, sites aren't always active. Now we've gone onto sites and they've been as dead as a doornail. There's absolutely nothing happening. But you enjoy the site and you enjoy the history and you enjoy the experience of being in that place.
Actually, one of the most active ones I'd been to was Ward 17 at Callum Park. I haven't been there in a long time, but that REM pod activity we had when it was matching me singing a Christmas carol blew my mind. Thoughts on the UK's most haunted TV show? Poor Yvette. Look, I'm actually grateful to that show.
Oh, if it wasn't for that show, there wouldn't be 1,000 other shows at the moment on TV. So, we
and
might
it
have
introduced me to table tipping. I got the curiosity about table tilting from that show. So, even the worst show on this earth, you will learn something from. Oh, Belangolo, that's definitely too soon. Somebody tried to do a tour out there, and they were
slaughtered,
hung, drawn, and quartered.
Slaughtered by the community, by the TV, by everyone. And that goes back to Portable Tree. You don't want to get yourself into a space where you're doing something that the community doesn't want you to do because you'll hear about it. I had that in my early years of starting Newcastle Ghost Tours when part of a community allowed me on a site and then someone got their knickers in a knot that I was out there. And
she was dancing on graves and cutting chickens' heads off, apparently.
And they got the rest of the community in. They got a mob in. And and I was the target of that mob. And I tell you what, it is not a nice place to be when the pitchforks are pointed at your eyes. Someone mentioned Pendle Hill. We've been there.
Well, also,
and that was awesome.
We have been to the Hellfire Club in Dublin. So you can, and that we've done the True Hauntings podcast on that one, and we've also done the Catacombs. So I want to go visit the Catacombs, but you can listen to those too. Dubbo Jail, that can actually be really active and then be really dead. It's one of those really weird ones. How are we going for time, Renata?
Yeah, we need to finish up.
Yeah.
Look, the main reason, guys, Fort Scratchley, Robert, I think Fort Scratchley would have more stories to tell, but the volunteers that work at Fort Scratchley aren't open to the whole idea of
she couldn't do it.
Ghostly stories and ghosts being on the site. There is one or two places down in the tunnels that are very, very interesting energetically, but I did try a couple of tours there at Fort Scratchley, And all I got from them was that it was such a pain coming out at night to open up and to be there and to do the tour for us, blah, blah, blah. Even though I was handing them a lot of money to be there, that I ended up going, it's too much hard work and I'm not going to do it.
Yes, we've got New Orleans and Voodoo places on our list. And no, she gets seasick. She gets seasick. That's why she can't do it. Yes, Penny. Yeah, it was great. Were you there the night that we had them talking to us and talking about, you know, the bed, and they had the thing across the bed, and it was telling us, you know, their names and where they were shot, and it was yeah, fascinating. Witches melt in water.
So we're going to actually say goodbye to you guys.
Thank you, Nicholas.
We thank you for coming on. True Hauntings will not have an episode out tomorrow, and it won't have an episode out on Friday because the guys that put the show together are having a bit of a break. They're giving us a break as well. We've been at this for half a year.
They're having some annual leave, bless them.
So we've been at this for half a year.
Josh Jr., hope you're enjoying Tassie.
Every week. So we'll still be recording so that we've got some recordings up our sleeve, but we're kind of not that pressed to push things out if we can't. So we kind of just wanted to say thank you for following. Thank you for supporting True Hauntings. As Anne said, we've had 75,000 downloads, which is awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, 32 episodes. 32 episodes we've had.
And we're going to keep doing this as long as we've got beautiful followers like you guys that are interested in what we do.
So, yeah, thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
And you know what we say now? See you on the dark side. Bye.